And we're live. Fucking. I'm gonna share this on some places and it's gonna make some people sad. Because a lot of people think that being a conspiracy theorist means I have to swallow exactly all the cocks that also belong to people who say they're conspiracy theorists. Um, but I'm just gonna tweet this out, share it in the groups I'm in on Twitter, and throw out all the sponsors at once this time, because last time when I tried the method of like mixing the sponsors in, it didn't work so well. So I'm gonna see if this helps with it at all. And I'm just gonna blow through the sponsors. I finally fucking added Necrotopia to the image roundup. So that will be flashing as well. Apologies for not having that up sooner. But basically, sponsors are as follows: Love Java, Performance Butter Coffee with MCT and CBD oils, 0 calorie, good stuff. I've had it and it definitely works for what its intended purpose is. And Castle Keep Crafts, hand painted stained glass, and fantasy. Guess you could call them goods. Burnt wood carvings and various other things, including CD guys, which I've shown on the stream before. Sorry, I'm late and distracted. A bunch of stuff came up right before the stream started, so, of course they had to come up exactly then. But if you want to get some fantasy trinkets and also things for your home, feel free to check out Castle Keep Crafts. I see more people filtering in. Thanks for that like. And also, fucking Necrotopia, which is an apocalyptic RPG set in a battle against Satan for the first game campaign. So you can check that out at necrotopiarpg.com. Biggest sponsors are Liberty Under Attack Publications. They will do a full service publishing. They do narration, they do binding, they do everything. And if you got a libertarian book you want published, go through them. They already publish like Bad Quaker. They already publish the Vanu shit. They publish a lot of really, really good stuff. And if you want yours added to the lineup, feel free to hit Shane Radliff up. And it's also brought to you by... Oh, and you can tell Liberty Under Attack that Jeremiah sent you for 20% off a full-service package. And also Liberty Professionals, which is private investigation based in Virginia. If you're in the Virginia area and you want private investigation, or if you're anywhere in the world and you want private security consulting, feel free to hit up LibertyProfessionals.com for all of the latest shit. He keeps relatively up to date on how security works, and he can keep you in security and in safety. So feel free to check that out. Anytime you help a sponsor, it helps me. Before we get into anything, because I have a shit ton more than just Area 51 to discuss, I've got a bone to pick with a very specific person. And that very specific person, I've already picked the bone, I should say. That's a more accurate assessment. But the person in question decided lately to do pretty much nothing but talk shit, and claim that I'm subsidized by the Liberty Movement. I'm Tila Tequila. I'm all this shit. And he said today, this charming line, in addition to a wide variety of other charming lines he said, and that is, You're the lamest person on this platform. You wouldn't survive without an internet connections and the luxuries of the state. And that was after he had spent some time, sorry, spent some time uh, basically making a thread about MK Ultra about him. I was talking about MK Ultra and about how they used to isolate people in featureless environments and remove stimulus from them so that they would forget who they were and be psychically drivable, so that they would lose their memory because it had no interface with the world and they couldn't recall the things that came from objects that they were familiar with. Um, and so they would lose everything, and they would lose significant chunks of their history. There were people who went through that part of the program and who didn't remember family members, who didn't remember their childhoods, who didn't remember a significant amount of things. And it was cruel, right? And so I was talking about how cruel that was. And Apollo Slater, longtime supporter and friend of mine, he says, you know, what's isolation feedback loops? And this fucking guy comes in, you know, hijacking a thing where people had their minds wiped to compare it to anarchist Twitter. So I basically fucking called him out on it, and he says, fucking keep begging for rent money on the internet. You're the Tila Tequila of anarchism. You monetize rebellion while sitting on ass. So this is what it looks like when someone has no argument and less empathy than none. He doesn't like me, so he takes it out on people who reply to my content. In this case, he also interrupts a conversation against MK Ultra to make it about his petty shit. Don't be like him. That's what I said about it. That's pretty much the last thing I said to him before just, you know, going off on him about this fucking thing. I wish I had Tila Tequila's money. If I had Tila Tequila's money, I could fucking like have a better computer so I could be hosting my own instance of PocketNet, and you know, I could buy a Freedom Box tomorrow because I wouldn't be like moving month to month on bare minimums. So if you decide you want to spite this guy and support my content, feel free. I would definitely appreciate it. But I think this guy is such a fucking loserish chode, and I wanted to bring that up. Because making any of this about you, it's not about me. It's not about fucking any one of us. When I'm talking about the victims of heinous government action, it's not because I think I'm the shit. It's because I know about it and I think other people should too. So I just thought I'd get that out of the way before coming in to the Area 51 raid, because I just wanted to talk about this particular subject. Now, I'm not going to go into like the origins of Area 51. To be honest, you would do better in most of these cases to just watch a Netflix or Curiosity Stream fucking documentary on that subject. But what I will say is that anybody who wants to expose government stuff needs to think very, very closely about the kinds of things that they look to as their sources of information. And in this particular case, I want to reference this rant because this is what started to really get me to question it. And you know, they apparently TrueStream actually absorbs my content too now, TrueStream Media, because they commented on a tweet the other day saying I do good work. So I mean, shout out if you're in the audience right now. But this is TrueStream Media's video on the subject, and I'm not gonna play it because I really want you guys to subscribe to them. They put out consistently good content, and speaking of MK Ultra, if you want to find out how bad it really is and how basically the machinations that they set in place are still happening now, You should watch The Minds of Men. So I want to get that out of the way because I'm not going to play this video. But you should watch this video because it's a good rant. And the rant is called Just a Rant on the Disclosure Movement. And I have it frozen on a slide that they show in that video. And in that particular video, they go over the fact that Dr. Greer, the person that made the documentary that they were just sent by a very, happy and probably loving fan, fucking it's made by a shill for the Rockefellers. And they go into some detail on the fact that they've been basically trying to expose this for a long time. And I just have it frozen on the absolute necessary slide here. And this is a slide that's a reference of a video that they put out in 2015. And this is still going on. Like, this shows that there's a schism in the truth community between people who are okay with being distracted and people who aren't. Because the fact that this came out fucking 4 years ago and people in the truth community still act like in order to be here you have to accept that UFOs are real and that the US government's hiding them in Area 51 or some shit. Fucking Roswell, New Mexico. Or one of these other obvious places. The fact that that's a thing, when there's no proof, when the closest thing that people have to proof is documentaries on Netflix where a guy basically says it with no sources and we're just supposed to fucking believe him. So I can't stand this agenda already, but the fact that the key people that are presiding over this narrative are people that work directly with Bilderberg and shit like that. The Rockefeller family. Look at this fucking name and remember Dr. Greer, Dr. James Greer, because this should be upsetting to people in the truth movement. It should upset people that it's being puppeteered by the elite, but most people don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. So I just wanted to get that particular thing out of the way before going into Blink-182 frontman guy that's on Joe Rogan and fucking everybody in the truth community has at least said something about it. So, I might as well jump into it, right? Philly D myself into this fucking situation and say this guy is full of shit because the things that he claims to have access to, the Navy just co-signed. So we're supposed to believe that the U.S. military is okay with co-signing a guy who theoretically leaked things that he shouldn't have. Now, not only is that bullshit on its surface, but I want to fucking play some shit here, and I want to play it on NBC Chicago. And I want you to think about whether or not NBC Universal gives a shit about the truth. And while you watch this. And you know what? I need to not let it fucking play the whole thing. I'm just gonna skip. So, this is them him showing that they calibrated everything, and that, woo, this is authentic military shit. And like, I try not to react to this stuff like so automatically, because there are possibilities that things could be true, but just watch what happens. Just right here.
moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at that, man. Look at it fly!
Now, believe what you want, you know? I ain't your dad. I ain't here to try to change you. But what I will say is that you could hire somebody with a southern accent. You could hire a series of people with southern accents to say whatever you wanted. And you could make a tiny little dot on a textureless, featureless background, moving across the screen. And you could get that to say whatever the fuck you wanted. You could get it to do whatever the fuck you wanted. So when you tell me that I'm supposed to believe that this thing that they say is a UFO, which is really just a tiny little blip on the fucking radar of a thing we can't verify as real, yeah, the Navy might want to distract from some shit that they are doing. We don't know. Fucking, I can do a southern accent. I can do many southern accents. I've been complimented on my southern accents by southerners. And for people to just believe this because the Navy says so, I thought the truth movement was supposed to be like against believing whatever the government says, no matter what it is, right? Is this where we are? Is this where the truth movement is? Is truth now whatever the government co-signs? Because otherwise, if it's not that, then you have to accept the possibility that the Navy is bullshitting too. Or that, you know, the government was testing something that flies fast. Like, it'd be much, much easier to justify away a UFO as just, you know, a potential alien thing that we have no way of knowing about, than it would be to admit that the U.S. government has better tech than they said they did before. It would be a shorter press conference. It would be easier, right? I don't know why people just automatically believed this because of it. Ty Francis says, can you read this? Yes, I can, Ty. Hello. Boris says, tell the guy to do one. He can only dream of being as interesting as you. Yeah, well, I kind of wish he would, because I think people would get very tired of his old man shit very quickly, and he'd have to sell out to his obvious boomer audience very quickly. He'd turn into a Phil Robertson quicker than you could spit. Tasha LeBlanc says, look up KLS News Radio on Facebook. They went live from Area 51. I might look at their stream after it goes up. This would be a super easy way for the US government to get everybody distracted. Just put up a light show in that region. Everybody's on fucking drugs because nobody there actually cares about aliens or truth. You know? Just put up a fucking light show, and while everybody is watching these lights in the fucking sky and saying, whoa, man. I mean, fucking theoretically, SpaceX is the reason for one of the, quote, UFOs that happened. One of the big-ass, like, fucking giant tampon in the sky that went... that was theoretically SpaceX. So... they could do that again, and people would say, yeah, man, we saw it. Can we focus? There are so many more important things. So, like, you know, I'm not fucking saying that these people that believe it deserve reproach. They don't. But what I will say is, go to TruthStream Media and watch their videos on aliens. It's not just them either. Like, I think even Corbett has some videos on how bullshit this is. But just any time you see the elites co-signing an agenda, it's probably bullshit. Can we agree on that? Can we agree that when the elites say, hey, this is what the truth is, and anybody who believes anything else is full of shit, that they're full of shit? Can we agree on that? Because if we can't, then the truth movement's fucked. Absolutely fucked. I mean, I can't stand how Blink 182 guy can go on Joe Rogan, and the fact that he was in a band means that we should take what he says about UFOs more seriously. Where's his credentials? Where did he do his research? What research did he do other than a series of fucking internet searches that confirmed his bias and then vomiting that onto a fucking interviewer 17? You know? I don't understand how people don't automatically know this is bullshit. But, whatever. Just to move on from that subject. See if there's anything in the chat before I move on. Because I've noticed my viewers are bleeding, but E.T. killed Epstein. Okay, whatever. If E.T. killed Epstein, then he's in on the Epstein shit too, which wouldn't surprise me. E.T. was creepy as fuck. Have you ever thought about that? Like, if you would be okay with that alien if that alien showed up in your actual house? Like, most people don't like the idea of Biden sniffing them. How about a giant tendril alien with like a clear obesity problem going like it's gross. I've never even seen ET because it never appealed to me. Like, the closest I got to that level of fucking animatronic grossness was always something like The Thing or like Gremlins. At least Gremlins had a better plot. I don't know. I've always been kind of a cynical asshole even when I was a kid. But either way, let's get into the next subject, which in this case is how shitty EA is. So EA says, invest in crypto. So a bunch of people jumped on board this invest in crypto shit. And when they jumped on board this invest in crypto shit, they thought that EA was starting to endorse cryptocurrency. It's a reasonable thing since that's exactly what EA was trying to do. They were trying to hijack this shit. Everybody's talking about cryptocurrency in EA's bullshit. But what actually is crypto? Well, crypto is an ad. I said it. Hey, cryptocurrency Twitter. The reason EA is saying this is to advertise another dumb cash grab. Just in case you thought you suddenly had an ally in the form of one of the most scummy developer companies out there, EA still sucks in almost all ways. And I've never played Apex Legends. I'm not really interested in it. But what they said was, prepare yourself for Apex Legends Season 3, Meltdown. Dropping October 1st, Meltdown brings a new contender to the arena, crypto. In an all-new battle pass, ranked Series 2 and more. Get the first details and prepare for more. So basically, it's just DLC. EA is advertising DLC, and a shit ton of people helped them do it by posting about cryptos. So I posted that, and I also said EA hijacking cryptocurrency terms to advertise a battle pass for a thing which has nothing to do with any of it. Must be peak EA. If you want to support any legacy dev, support Sega and get the Genesis Mini. Not these chodes and their cheeky attempts to drain your wallet. So that's my take. I really don't like it when giant companies take something that was good and still is good. And I'll be getting into more crypto stuff soon, talking about the Winklevoss twins. But I don't like it when, like, fucking anarchy isn't a fashion accessory, but Rage used anarchy, even though there were gangs and governments in Rage. I really don't like it when good things are co-opted and you shouldn't either. I don't want to necessarily tell you how to feel about everything, but in this case, I'm fairly solid. You shouldn't let things like this be hijacked. So I wanted to bring up EA being scummy, so that I could then bring up another person being scummy. And in this case, I'm using a lisp because I'm talking about Mike Cernovich. He posted this fucking thing. And it's just so asinine. I never believed the hate hype about the Winklevoss twins because, like them, I bear the burden of being beautiful. Of course, people hated them because they were also tall, from a proper family, and obscenely rich. So, what a bougie take to have. So I posted this. I said, LOL, it thinks it's beautiful. Here's the truth. They got the good life off investing their earnings from a privacy-violating CIA shill, that being Facebook. And Ben Mesrich shit-talking anarchists and libertarians and claiming they don't care about finance? Fuck that. BTC needed us, like it or not. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ben Mesrich is the one who wrote this fucking stupid book that Cernovich authorized, endorsed, and just completely went with. And Mike's reason for saying that the Winklevoss... Mike's stated reason for saying the Winklevoss twins were hated unfairly was, they're beautiful, and I'm beautiful. That's why we're hated. Cernovich is hated because he takes every issue and relates it to his bullshit plans and sells them solutions. And people don't like that. They don't like being told that they need to adopt the gorilla mindset by a guy who is not remotely a gorilla and who constantly complains when shit doesn't go his way. And in this particular case, I got pretty irritated with that. And I had to show you an image file to show you what he tweeted, because not too long after that, after I posted my reply there, in addition to a bunch of other stuff, would you look at that, Mike Cernovich himself blocked me. You can make this stuff up. It's not that hard to believe that an egomaniac like Mike Cernovich would block somebody for making a joke. But, he didn't respond. He didn't give any sort of dignity to the situation. He just blocked me. Like, I find it funny that all these conservatives that talk about like snowflakes and shit and try to act all tough and, gorilla mindset, and then he gets one mean tweet from me ever and he blocks me. It's just so fucking laughable. But here is the reason I posted that. And I'm going to play the whole video in its fucking entirety. Stopping very minimally, if at all. Because you guys should see how awful this fucking author is. So here's that. Played on CBS Morning's YouTube channel.
The twin brothers famously lost out to Mark Zuckerberg in a battle for the fortune generated by Facebook. But they did walk away with millions of dollars, and where they put that money is a story of its own. It's detailed in the new book, Bitcoin Billionaires, by author Ben Mesrich, who also wrote The Accidental Billionaires, the book on which The Social Network was based. Ben Mesrich, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
Another fascinating subject here. You write about the Winklevoss twins, that they were a book cover that had already been judged and judged again. What was the perception of them after Facebook?
So it was really my fault, actually. When I first met the Winklevoss twins, I grew up on 80s movies, and they were immediately the bad guys,
right.
They looked like the guys in skeleton costumes chasing the Karate Kid around the gym. And when I wrote Accidental Billionaires, they were the alpha males. They were these, almost a joke. And I think that carried afterwards. Everyone saw Zuckerberg as the lovable nerd and them as the bad guys. But that was actually wrong.
I love the plural, the Winklevoss.
The Winklevoss.
So, okay, I'm going to stop it here. Because they're already framing this the same way Cernovich did, that people just hate them because they're good looking. Oh yeah, they're just the jocks, fucking meagerly beset by a fucking culture that overprotects nerds. Yeah, that's the agenda. That's backed by reason and ethics. Not at all like, that's just a cover for the fact that he wants to sell a book about these people. He's giving an objective analysis. Anyway.
Yeah, he sort of coined that. But I mean, the whole notion of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, I mean, the idea that they caught on to this on vacation.
Right. They went to, what happened was they got this settlement for $65 million, which they took in stock. So it became $500 million.
Wow.
Then they tried to invest in Silicon Valley, but no one would take their money because they were the guys Zuckerberg hates the most. So no one wanted them on their spreadsheet. And
no one wanted to upset Zuckerberg.
Right. So they went to Ibiza, as one does, and they were on the beach, and someone walked up and said, "Have you heard of Bitcoin?"
Right.
And that started this crazy journey into this digital currency and turned them into multi-billionaires.
And on that journey, we sort of see that there are differing thoughts about what people believe Bitcoin should be.
Right. Yeah.
What are some of those?
Right. Well, Bitcoin started from this libertarian anarchist place where people used it to buy drugs on something called Silk Road. People thought it's a way to bring down governments, bring down banks.
Right.
But the Winklevi twins are the guys in suits. They wore suits to class. They're the ones thinking that Bitcoin can actually be a part of the financial system. It's digital money, money I can send directly to you with nobody in between. And that, to them, is a freeing, liberating thing that everyone
So
could
fucking
do.
Get
asinine.
them back in with the people in Silicon Valley that shunned them earlier.
Well, what's crazy is now Facebook is looking at doing a digital coin or a crypto coin, and supposedly it's been reported, and it's actually partly in my book, that Zuckerberg has now been talking to the Winklevi twins.
So they're back together again.
Time heals all wounds, I guess.
Who
World
knows
does
how
come.
that's going to work out. But I believe it's always been personal between the twins and Zuckerberg, that they're both driven by this personal battle going on, this Shakespearean battle between the twins and Zuckerberg, and it's never going to end.
There's another fascinating.
So, there you have it. Libertarians and anarchists are the dark side. Or the dark side, we're the evil ones. And the good ones, they're the ones who are fighting the libertarians and anarchists. That's what this interview is saying. And the good ones include the Winklevoss twins, who are now saving cryptocurrency and Bitcoin from people like me. That's what they're saying. And people ate it up. 10,000 views on May 25th, right? And the fact that people just believe this, the fact that people like Cernovich posted the fact that people only dislike the Winklevoss twins because they're beautiful. I'm gonna play the rest of this video so that you guys can hear the asinine bullshit.
Character in the book, Charlie Shrem. He was profiled on 60 Minutes actually last Sunday. What does he represent in the world of Bitcoin?
Yeah, so Charlie Shrem was this very smart young guy. He was 19 years old, lived in his mother's basement, and he was one of the first people into Bitcoin. He built a company called BitInstant, but he went the wrong way. He was sort of dragged into the libertarian anarchist fold and ended up making mistakes, ended up being the first person to go to jail for Bitcoin. He was the third partner of the Winklevi twins, so it's a big part of the story.
Yeah.
They were trying to bring him to the right side, and other people were pulling him the other direction.
The dark side.
Yeah. Well, there have been a few transformational events in Bitcoin. Talk to us about Silk Road and some.
Yeah, so originally, Silk Road was the only place you could really use Bitcoin. Silk Road was an underground dark web site where you could buy and sell anything. I mean, drugs and guns and all sorts of illegal stuff. And in the beginning, that's what Bitcoin was all about. Now, that was taken down in a big FBI raid. The guy who founded it ended up going to jail for multiple life sentences. But the twins always saw that as a good thing. When Silk Road went away, that meant Bitcoin could become something mainstream. Regular people are not going to use Bitcoin if it's being used to buy drugs.
Are they still billionaires?
Yes, they are billionaires.
Okay.
Bitcoin's back.
So there you have it. Now you know why I don't like the guy. because the guy's a piece of fucking slime. The guy's the kind of sleazy used car salesman that wouldn't have a job if he didn't have other people's careers to talk about. That's why I don't like him. And I also don't like him because he lies about what Bitcoin is, about how it works, about cryptocurrencies in general, and about how the Winklevoss twins are just beset by a class of people who simply don't understand cryptocurrency. So I posted that reply to Thurnovich, and the little bitch blocked me. It's fucking hilarious. Instead of actually looking at what I was saying, that's what a lot of these sorts of people do. They're not interested in the truth. They're not interested in reason. They're not interested in having a conversation with you. They're interested in having you believe what they say and call them pretty too, or you have to be blocked. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Them's the breaks, son. And so I wanted to bring that up because it's valuable to discuss this particular subject through the lens of what this guy was trying to say. Ross Ulbricht? You really want to pick on Ross Ulbricht? Ben? Fuck you. The fact is, he didn't talk about why he's in jail serving life sentences. He didn't talk about the pretty much unproven internet activity that they tried to link to him, saying that he hired assassins or whatever, with no basic proof, and they just fucking believed because they wanted to put Ross Ulbricht away. He started a website. That's not a fucking crime. The fact that people were using it for criminal activities like drugs and weapons is completely irrelevant. And the fact that Ben here wants to make it seem like a currency that is used for that has no legitimacy in the mainstream? The dollar is still the blackest money in terms of markets. I posted this. I said also Ben Mesrich glossing over Ross Ulbricht and claiming Bitcoin can't be mainstream while it's used in the black market. I linked to the video you just watched. Dollars are still the most popular black market currency. Libertarians and anarchs aren't the dark side. Go fuck yourself. This is why people don't like the Winklevoss twins, because of punks like Ben Mesrich not taking any of their opposition into account in order to side with lucky billionaire elitists. Newsflash, Ben, people can dislike Zuck and the Winklevoss twins, and I'm living proof. Stop talking forever. So that was my response, and I was pretty angry, but I didn't think fucking gorilla mindset, tough ass Cernovich would block me. Apparently, I was wrong. Apparently, all you have to do to be blocked by Cernovich is criticize something he's saying and say he's not pretty. I guess that's it, right? Because everything I just said was 100% true. All of it. And the idea that he was only disliked because he's pretty, and not because he says shit like this all the fucking time, and not because he doesn't go deeply into issues and he just fucking spouts his bullshit and gets praise, that's why people don't like him. It's because he says nothing and gets many things. People don't like that. Express trusts. Yep, Trump trains. He was talking about E.T., the cartoon character, or the fucking, well, whatever. He was in a cartoon as well, the animatronic alien puppet thing from the Amblin movie. A troll with a purpose says Alex Jones was right about interdimensional space pedos. Maybe. Crypto Bismal, just take it. It'll make you feel better. Yeah, funny. Kavanaugh violated my... Okay, I'm not gonna continue with that particular line. Boris says the AAA gaming publishers are devoid of ethics. Yes, yeah, most of them. Troll with a Purpose says Biff and Brad. Yeah. I mean, pretty much. Hey, we're just jocks. We're fucking jocks who are cool. We're into the cool internet money. Speaking of evil libertarians, Julie Borowski is going to be on Liberty Doll tomorrow. Okay. I sometimes watch Liberty Doll. I rarely watch Julie Borowski. To be honest, the way she talks and the fact that she has to open up her mouth extremely widely for most of the things she says bothers me. Troll with a Purpose says, feels to me like the shutdown of Silk Road was 10 times as dirty as anything that went on at the site. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know who you're asking who about, Murad, so you'll have to fill me in. But I fucking hate when people try to act like a tough ass conservative, and they can't even withstand one joke from a person who's right about something. If he was so confident in his gorilla mindset about his position on the Winklevoss twins, he could, talk to me about it. And the fact that he blocked me means he actually fucking saw what I said and then decided, yeah, I'm good. So he saw it, he decided not to engage, even though I was right, because he still wanted to have his poor me tweet up about being too gorgeous to be beloved. Fuck you, you piece of garbage. Endorsing an author who papers over real suffering to talk about how hard it is being pretty when you're not even that fucking pretty? Fuck off. For literally ever. Anyway. To talk about the Winklevoss twins, in case that's who that person was asking who, they run this new exchange, which got lots and lots of ad time on many platforms. It's called Gemini. I'm going to read the description from Wikipedia here. That it's a digital currency exchange and custodian that allows customers to buy, sell, and store digital assets. Gemini is a New York trust company that's regulated by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Gemini was founded in 2014 by Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss. In June 2016, according to CNBC report, Gemini became the world's first licensed Ether exchange. In May 2018, it was announced that Gemini had become the world's first licensed Zcash exchange. Currently, it operates in the US, Canada, the UK, South Korea, Hong Kong, and Singapore. Primary competitors include Coinbase, Binance, Bitstamp, and Kraken. All users are able to trade cryptocurrency and fiat currency on an open market. So, whatever, that's fine on its face. But the allure of this is that it's supposed to be regulated. It's regulated by the U.S. government, and that means that it's protected, but it also means that it has to abide by a bunch of other fucking restrictions that other competitors don't. So it's pretty fucking bad. It's basically the cryptocurrency exchange of spooks and normies. And the reason they can afford to set this up is because they took their fucking pittance that they got from getting, quote, ripped off of Facebook, and they invested in cryptocurrency. And they took that investment in cryptocurrency all the way to being billionaires. And this is a, quote, success story that this person was pushing, because he said that they weren't liked because of smear campaigns like the fucking Social Network movie. He said they weren't liked because they looked like jocks bullying a nerd. Not because they're opportunists, not because they're rich, entitled people who, came from the same, spoiled university that Zuckerberg did. Not because they then went on to become e-tech fucking dude bros who spend all their time making more money so that they can make more money. Nobody talks about the fact that they're basically useless because Gemini doesn't have that much utility that other exchanges don't. No, they're just disliked because they're pretty. This is what I don't like. I mean, I'm not a looker. I get compliments on my looks for some stupid reason. I don't actually know, because I think I look like ass. But at the same time, to say that these people are disliked because they're pretty, maybe I just don't understand it because I'm not pretty myself. Maybe if I was born gorgeous, I would understand the struggles of being such perfect specimens of humanity, and I would sympathize with Mike Cernovich about how he's, too gorgeous to be liked. Fucking, how is this real? How do people believe this line of shit? So I figured I would talk about that, and talk about the fact that, maybe we should dislike the Winklevoss twins and Zuckerberg? Oh, Facebook is bad too? So this... I've had a difficult set of weeks here recently, for many reasons, not the least of which is Discord still lying to me. It's almost like I'm against a lot of big tech and not just the ones run by pretty people. Fucking dumbass cunt. And let's talk about Facebook, by bringing up this Associated Press article about a thing that happened maybe yesterday or a couple days ago. I don't remember. And the article was written yesterday, but whatever. Facebook still auto-generating Islamic State and Al-Qaeda pages, by Desmond Butler and Barbara Utere. I believe that's Urete? Whatever. I'm bad with some names. So this is an article about how Facebook is giving people these pages really easily and quickly. This is a slideshow, and the bottom caption reads, pages from a confidential whistleblower's report obtained by the Associated Press, along with 2 printed Facebook pages that were active on Tuesday, September 17, 2019, are photographed in Washington. Facebook likes to say that its automated system removed the vast majority of prohibited content glorifying the Islamic State group and Al-Qaeda before it is reported, but a whistleblower's complaint shows that Facebook itself has inadvertently produced dozens of pages in their names. The social networking company appears to have made little progress on the issue in the 4 months since the AP detailed how pages that Facebook auto-generates for businesses are aiding Middle East extremists and white supremacists in the U.S. Notice, of course, it's just them. It's just the boogeymen over there and the white boogeymen here. It's nobody else. On Wednesday, U.S. senators on the Committee of Commerce, Science, and Transportation questioned representatives from social media companies, including Monica Bickert, who heads Facebook's efforts to stem extremist messaging. Bickert did not address Facebook's auto-generation during the hearing, but faced some skepticism that the company's efforts were effectively countering extremists. Blah, blah, blah. The filing obtained by the AP identifies almost 200 auto-generated pages, some for businesses, others for schools or other categories, that directly reference the Islamic State group, and dozens more representing Al-Qaeda and other known groups. One page listed as a political ideology is titled, "I Love Islamic State." It features an IS logo inside the outlines of Facebook's infamous thumbs up icon. In response to a request for comment, a Facebook spokesperson told the AP our priority is detecting and removing content posted by people that violates our policy against dangerous individuals and organizations to stay ahead of bad actors. Auto-generated pages are not like normal Facebook pages, as people can't comment or post on them, and we remove any that violate our policies. While we can't catch everyone, we remain vigilant in this effort. So, Facebook, a company that, let me remind you, got venture capital money directly from the CAA through In-Q-Tel, and which has many employees coming directly from the US government to the Facebook staff. That company is sponsoring Al Qaeda pages, and this CIA-backed company, Facebook, that's backing these people, the CIA under Zbigniew Brzezinski did that. Operation fucking Cyclone. Look it up. Jimmy Carter was not just a peaceful peanut farmer. The whole fucking thing is a sham. The idea that the US government would not take this opportunity with a platform they basically sponsored to dragnet data collect for them, and use that platform to also boost their efforts in the same way that they always have, sponsoring terrorists, it really seems unlikely. I mean, for legal reasons, that's just a wild statement, and I have no proof, I'm not making an allegation, but what I will say is that it's fucking suspicious that this has happened before with the CIA, and is now happening on a platform paid for partially by the CIA, and staffed partially by people who worked for the US government. Like, we're not allowed to just look at these sorts of things and be suspicious about them. Because Facebook's clearly just a private institution, man, just doing their jobs, just giving you your social network. Do you hate capitalism and freedom, man? Says the stupid Republican hippie that wants to be the counterculture even though they're GOP tards. Yeah, I'm criticizing a private fucking company. Facebook also has the most traffic to Fox News, and Fox News is their most popular political outlet. They're really good at making sure people think a specific way. And they had that thing a while back where they tried to fucking manipulate your emotions by showing you specific posts and then seeing how you feel about it. Seeing what reacts you give it. Every time you give that custom react there, you're helping Facebook build an algorithm against you. I hope you know that. But let me just put a pin in that, because I'm going to come back to that on a later stream, and I want this stream to be around an hour long. I want all these streams to be around that long so that I can afford the time in the day to make these streams. But I just thought I'd bring that up, that Facebook seems to have another problem with extremism. CIA's never had a problem with helping extremists before, no. It couldn't be that it's happening again. It couldn't possibly. Think of the children making comments like this. Even though, of course, Facebook has a series of pedo groups and a lot of them are allowed to stay on the line. One of the things that I saw was a Facebook group, an event related to a children's pup play event, which is an extreme kink and fetish where people get aroused by being treated like dogs. It's not even really furry. It's just fucking wearing BDSM masks and shit. And Facebook thought that this was a good thing for kids because they didn't remove it because it didn't go against their community guidelines. It's almost like Facebook could be a problem reaction solution kind of thing. Where they provide a problem and then the US government has a reaction to that problem and then a solution. Almost like these platforms are designed to manipulate public discourse and the output of information, and that's why you can't positively reference Alex Jones on there anymore without being banned. Now, that's crazy. Sorry, I got a little too woke there. I gotta pull myself back from the brink, because otherwise somebody might get upset. We can't have that. But anyway, I thought I'd go into that, and I thought I'd go into the fact that the fucking the British state is implementing measures, AI cameras, that control and monitor whether or not people can do things with their face, whether or not they can obscure their face from a camera. They now have laws and legal procedures if you try to not be seen by a smart camera. Really? Really? So I want to read part of this article from antiwar.com, which is great, by the way. I suggest everybody check out antiwar.com. So their cameras use facial recognition tech that can capture a grimace, a pimple, a freckle, even an eye blink as you walk the streets. Software then compares whatever the camera captures to government databases. By touching the screen showing your image, the police can have at their fingertips instantly a full dossier on you, your medical, financial, law enforcement, educational, personal, and employment records. Stated differently, by looking at your face on a computer screen and without a search warrant or even any suspicion about you, British police can amass in a few seconds all the data that the government has accumulated about you. These procedures were recently challenged by a privacy advocate named Ed Bridges in a trial in Britain's High Court. He learned that the police had twice scanned his face into their databases and accessed personal data about him, once while he walked to a restaurant and once while at a political rally. His lawyers argued that the police need a basis in fact, some articulable suspicion to scan anyone's face into their database, and that without that suspicion, the police are effectively engaged in a virtual fishing expedition among innocent folks. The police argued that Bridges only knew of his face being scanned. They wouldn't say why he was scanned by examining government records that he sought, and if he had not sought the records, he never would have known that his image had been scanned. Thus, they argued he endured no harm. Oh, man. And they were just purchased by the police. They were never authorized, all this stuff. Punished for scratching your nose or wearing your ski mask or pulling your t-shirt over your mouth in public? Yes. One would think that this Orwellian in-your-face invasion of personal freedom would have shocked the conscience of the court. It didn't. The court sided with the police. And they go into how it's happening here now. So, Facebook, all these services that you're giving your face and all your other personal information to, the government's using that information, and they're using it to track you wherever you go, using cameras and software that you never agreed to be monitored by and that they never even got approval to install. They just bought them and put them there. Fantastic job at freedom, humanity. So I just thought I'd bring all that up. You know, I'm going to come back tomorrow, and I think I should be able to put out an episode of the Weekly Hellscape for the first time in a while tomorrow. But I'm irritated. The freedom's leaving, and we have almost no recourse. You know, everybody's concerned with cancellation, while 5G speeds up mobile everything to the factor of like 500 times its previous speed, and while AI can now turn anyone's face into your face, making you look like you committed a wide variety of offenses you didn't commit, the future is fucking dim. We're fucking losing. And this is why I can't stand shit like the Area 51 shit. It's why I can't stand shit like cancel culture. I mean, the left... I'll explain this cancel culture stuff to Stan, who asked me on Twitter. In case you watch this stream, you'll see this explanation here. Cancel culture is when you decide that because of something somebody said a really long time ago, that they deserve to have their entire career shut down. Or because of, specifically allegations. I mean, it makes sense to try and cancel somebody if you have proof, but it doesn't make sense to try and cancel somebody simply because you don't like them. And that's what a lot of these cancel culturers do. And the right claims to hate this because the left uses it a lot. So, I posted this because I thought it was funny. There was a situation recently where Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, was caught in pictures when he was in high school in blackface, I guess, and more when he was a teacher. And this is considered an impeachment of his whole character, not his bad, weak policies, not consistently pandering to a bullshit base, this. right? Um, so they canceled him. He got soft canceled the other day. And rightists were huge in this because they were pushing this like it was Christmas. Like they just got given the best gift ever. So I posted this. Leftists. Shane Gillis is a racist who got fired from SNL because he made anti-Chinese jokes. Listen to all the stuff he said. Cancel when? Rightists. Ridiculous. Stop digging up people's pasts as an excuse to destroy them. Also rightists. Oh, by the way, here's 50k tweets about how Justin Trudeau wore blackfaced ones. Cancel when? And this got me flack. Some people were very upset with me for having insinuated that the right could be hypocrites. This person is an example of a person who was. Don't harass them or whatever, but I just thought I'd show you the kind of stupidity I dealt with today. He said, meh, if the standard's good enough for one, it's good enough for the other. The leftists set the standard they expect others to follow. And I said, LOL, then never complain about cancel culture. You set the same standards when you engage on the same levels. If you're not a drooling puppet, you get to decide how you respond to other people's choices. Them doing something does exactly zero to force a specific reaction from you. Because I hate this stuff. Oh, the left did it. That means we have to do it. No, you can make your own better choices, you stupid piece of shit. So I said that to him. He didn't block me, by the way. We still had a conversation, if you can call it that, about this. So let me get into this conversation. Because his next thing was this. Nah, I'm quite happy for you guys to keep the moral standards upheld by pushing any and all infractions of cultural insensitivity. We can't be seen to let it slide because we risk making blackface and other parodies of minorities seem like a trivial, harmless thing. And I said, sorry, or are we all allowed to get away with blackface once? Such an asinine point. So I said, very simply, you don't I said, gotta love how people break up conversations like this instead of having them in the same thread. Look at me, I have an opinion. Anyway, nope. I oppose cancel culture and all its trappings. You're not gonna stop racism by censorship. That's not how any of this works. And he did it fucking again, because of course he did. And he said this, which was... This asinine tweet telling me, personally, Jeremiah, I despise cancel culture. But if they want to live by a particular sword, they gotta be ready to die by it too. Otherwise, it's do as I say and not as I do. Or they could stop being cunts about what people do for amusement. So I posted this. You don't despise cancel culture, boomer. You endorse it. That's what you do when you do things you don't have to. You make a choice and you stand behind it. They don't decide your rules, you do. Get over it and be an adult with agency or be an infant. So, that's my general response. I don't like cancel culture, so I won't do it. The closest I'll get is if somebody's being a legitimate risk, like fucking Bunny Riley the other week, who makes anarchists seem like we endorse pedophilia. And Brooke, who's no longer on Twitter because he got banned and he didn't create an alt, or fucking 422 guys, fucking all these anarchists making anarchy seem like a haven. Or literally anybody involved in the MAP community. They can all fucking go, like, literally off the world's shortest pure, and I would not care. So, let me be very fucking specific. If you're canceling somebody who's hurting somebody, that's sort of different. But if all you're canceling somebody for is a joke they made a really long time ago, not only can people change and evolve to be a different or better person, which... He's a politician, so I would argue that makes him a worse person. And I normally wouldn't go to bat for this sort of thing, but he's different now. And if you don't think so, then maybe assess the fact that he's been on the SJW train for a long time. And if you really care about not cancel culture, you won't cancel him even though you're a rightist. And if you really care about social justice, you won't cancel him because he's not doing it anymore. He doesn't stand by it. But all these people just fucking hopped out of the woodwork to fucking do this. So I figured I'd talk about that. And that's pretty much the end subject. I'm gonna check chat to see if there's anybody who has anything else to say. And if there's anything you want me to cover, feel free to put it in chat. Don't you have anything better to do than rant about social issues online? If a few tweets are enough to tell you that that's all I do, then I really hope you get better time management skills. Because I fucking don't just do this. I do many other things. These two conversations were conversation sparkers that I could use to talk about them on a place like this. If you disagree with me using fucking YouTube to talk politics, then feel free to either not show up or not use YouTube, which has a huge population of people who do what I'm doing right now with their social media content, have discussions with people about what they post. I have better stuff to do, and I do that better stuff. I had a really fucking good workout today. I fucking worked partway on a graphics gig that I had to start over entirely from scratch because my laptop toastered. Which, by the way, if any of you want to fucking help with that, I'll put a link in the description if you decide, because my hosting's coming up. If y'all like my ranting online about social issues, feel free to support it using this link, because I definitely need that support. And yes, I do better things. I'm not gonna let things like that slide when they show up in my feed. It's real easy to make these tweets. Of course I do better things. What the fuck kind of question is that? Adam Cat says you don't have to explain, G. Yeah, I know I don't have to, but if I'm gonna address the chat, I might as well fucking address. You know? The IRS and CIA couldn't have whipped up anything better themselves. Yeah, right? Jeremiah has the Kavorka. He should be doing the ads for Dr. Squatch Soap. I actually don't know what that means. I'm guessing it's an inside joke or whatever. Boris says, you're mad! Mad! Yes, I'm absolutely insane. Yes, the US becomes more, or the UK becomes more Orwellian each year. If I disappear, you'll know that I've been blocked from, booked into room 101. Yeah. I fucking, at least here, it's mostly in the hands of private data traders. I don't know about that. I think the US government has a copy of everything. I mean, need I remind people that there's a copy of every single tweet ever sent in the Library of Congress? They're still housing that shit. Either way, if there's nothing else anybody wants me to discuss, I've got other shit than ranting online to do. But feel free to check out any of the links in the description and use them to support what I do. Without those links, without those sponsors, without help from viewers like you, I wouldn't be able to do this. And I deeply thank the people who are helping. To be completely honest, I have about $100 worth of hosting I need to pay for my site to get it up and going for the next year. And, you know, I feel bad that I forgot about it because there were a lot of things that I might have cut back on if I had thought about it. But I forgot about it, and my site needs that money. So if you're interested in helping me out with that, feel free. But either way, I have a bunch of things in the work that aren't just ranting online. And one of the things is the fucking anti-pedo stuff, which I hope to turn into a burgeoning empire once I get it on board. I decided what I want to do with the Freedom Box when I get it is I want to get a really big micro SD card so that I can host a lot of shit very quickly. And I want to use the sorry, I got bruxism. That was my jaw popping. Fucking, I want to store a Riot server on it. I also want to host a Mastodon instance on it so that people who want to post against pedos can post against pedos in a Twitter-like format and also post against them in a Discord-like format without getting banned. So that's what I want to do with the Freedom Box when I get it. But I do need to pay for, hosting my own site, rent, I still need to be able to eat. The Freedom Box is going to come on the top of all of that. So if you guys decide you want to help, I got a Patreon, I got a PayPal, got crypto options, I got a ton of stuff. Support my sponsors. They'll give me money. So, dude, UFOs are real, even Navy confirmed it. I talked about this in the beginning of the stream. The Navy confirming something isn't good enough evidence for me to believe it. I'm an anarchist. And the fact that they confirmed something that a band leader posted isn't evidence enough for me either. I talked in the beginning of the stream about how True Stream Media went on a very effective and good rant about the fact that the whole disclosure movement is puppeteered by families like the Rockefellers. If you want to watch the beginning of the stream, I would highly encourage you to do so. But I'm not going to go over it all again. What I will say is that I'm not going to just simply believe something because the government says it, and I'm also not simply going to believe it because the fucking, lead singer of Blink-182 does. It's going to take a lot more than a smudge on a camera for me. Boris says, I'm a head out. Take care of yourself. Good talk. Yeah, well, see you on the next stream. And I'm going to try to move the stream tomorrow to a little bit earlier in the day so that my UK audience and my German people, I've even got somebody in Russia who wants to watch, can attend. Because I've got to get this international. There's so many more people in the US have a tendency to think our problems are the only problems, and that's a mistake. The US is highly influential, but it's not the only problem set. And I hope to be able to hit every single government on the planet and hopefully at some point have enough money crowdfunded that I can fund this app idea I have for taking them down manually. Because I've got an app idea that should be able to take many governments down fucking manually. It's pretty much already cement in my brain. All I need to do is put it out there. If you don't trust government, do you think they'd let you spread the truth on YT? Yes, of course they would. I have almost no subscribers. I have almost no money coming in. I'm an insane long-haired, homeless-looking bearded guy who rants in his bedroom and constantly has money issues. I'm not a threat yet. Not to the... people have this idea that you can't tell the truth and still have a platform. But the truth is manyfold. Okay, I'm going to fucking rant about this for a moment, because this is something that's always pissed me off. Oh, if you were talking the truth, they'd ban you already. No, that's not how this works. How this works is, I could be telling the truth, and there could be so many competitive stories. There could be so many more trusted figures saying the opposite, or just something close but not quite true. And as long as that informational diversity exists, mine is lost in the fucking mix. Because most people don't share my streams, and it's understandable. I'm an asshole who rants like an asshole. I understand why people don't want to spread this. I understand why people don't want to tag people. I understand why people don't want to show this to their families. I understand being a nobody, which I am. I am a nobody. If I become a somebody someday, and I start pulling in thousands of people to have these conversations with at once, they might have a problem with me speaking the truth. that might be an entertaining thing, being rated on stream for saying something untoward about the wrong person who has too much money and too much time on his hands, who just wants to watch somebody suffer. But the fact that I'm doing this on YouTube does not mean that I'm wrong about YouTube or Google. They have so many people, so many disinformation agents, either willing and ready, or just tacit disinformation agents, who are constantly talking about the exact agenda that they want pushed. Like the disclosure agenda is funded by the Rockefeller family. So please describe to me how you think the truth, when this diluted, has any focus that would scare them. Because I want to know. I wouldn't be scared at all of me. I'm a nobody who rants into a camera to a maximum concurrent viewership of 10. That's the most people that have been here for this stream. And this is a fairly good evening for this. You know? Normally it's like 4 or 5. I'm nobody. That's the reason they don't give a shit. You know? And I also don't have a 100% beat on the truth. Nobody does. Not even they do. They would bar me if I started to get mainstream appeal. If people like NBC started to have me on, they probably wouldn't even air the interview. If I got on Bill Maher, there would be problems for me relatively fucking immediately. If Donald Trump retweeted me, I would be banned tomorrow. Even though I'm sure he won't, because I call him a cunt all the time. They care about numbers. They care about the ability to infect the informational zeitgeist. And right now, the immune system of the state is keeping the body politic very nice and healthy from my information going viral. Y'all can change that, but I'm a broke asshole who rants into a camera. I'm not worth shit in terms of somebody to take down for telling the truth. Even if everything I said on this stream was 100% incontrovertible, they wouldn't take me down. Because there's no point to it. They have better spending money, and they have better uses of it. Gioa Maxita E says Buchetta. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming it's something to do with mouth, like boca. I might be wrong. Whatever. Tonio says, what's up? I'm actually about to wrap up the stream unless there's a specific topic anyone in chat wants me to cover. I've been ranting about the fact that, basically information is diluted enough, and I'm have a small enough audience that most people don't give a shit. And that's why the elites allow me to spout this shit. I was answering that because I'm tired of this shit. Says, if you don't trust government, do you think they'd let you spread the truth in YT? Yes, I absolutely fucking do. Because they have no incentive to hide me. It would be the best publicity in the world if they banned my YouTube channel. It would be the best publicity in the world. Because not only am I about to migrate to BitChute, so I would have a ton of people wandering over to my BitChute to hear from the censored guy, but I would be able to tell people, just like I'm talking about Discord, who banned me over a lie that they have not proven, that said that I was sending violent threats and harassing people and shit. I would be able to say YouTube banned me. They banned Mumkey Jones, and he got a huge amount of publicity off of it. It didn't help him much. But I'm tiny. I have less than 1,000 subs. I have no watch hours to speak of. It's why when I have these conversations, I always say, share it, like it. It helps me a lot, because it does. I'm nobody. I'm tiny. That's why they don't care. Jesus, which is the best way to enter Area 51? Answer my question, Jesus. Aerially. They have tunnels that stretch into parts of the desert that are still in restricted territory. And if you wanted to get into Area 51, drawing a heat map to where the tunnels are with an aerial FLIR photography system, if you could even keep it in the air that long. So you probably have to remote view in case your camera got shot down. But you would need to heat map the tunnels, and then you would need to take an aerial approach to one of the tunnels. Naruto running is not going to help you because the facility, the front door, you only get access if you have passes and authorizations and shit like that. And just directly running at it and overwhelming it, yes, they in fact can stop you all. So that's the way you do it. Aerial FLIR camera, check for the tunnels, and then find access points. Thank you, Jesus. Locating the nearest airport to hijack a plane now. Thanks. Godspeed. I'm just so far and beyond done. You know? I've been talking like this for years now. About 4 years I've been talking into a camera or a microphone. And for these 4 years, I've had almost no effect. And so I've taken this more gloves off approach, and suddenly I've actually got some interest in what I'm doing. And so I'm going to keep this up. Even if it's just ranting on the internet. Even if it's ranting about social issues online and I have nothing better to do. Even though I'm speaking the untruth so clearly because they haven't stopped me from saying it. I'm still going to do this. Even if I have almost no viewers, even if it's just a thing that I have to do in my odd time, I'm still going to do it. And if you guys want to help, I need my hosting paid. I need shit like that. You know? There's a lot that I want to accomplish. And all I need is your support. So feel free, and thank you to the 2 new subscribers. This has been Jeremiah Harding. Smash the state.